Are you struggling to wrap your mind around your financial life? Keys to the Coin with Dr. Paul Etienne is the podcast you need. We'll help you gain confidence in every coin through engaging discussions and financial know-how. Improve your financial literacy, become independent and debt-free, and learn more about the opportunities around you. From stock market investments to real estate and retirement funds, the possibilities are endless. Visit madbu.com and download our app, MadBoo Max, on both Android and iPhone's app stores.
All right, welcome to Keys to the Coin. My name is Paul Etienne and I'm your host. And today we have a very important guest with us. Her name is Shandelys Ramos. She is a real estate agent and we follow each other on IG. And I definitely enjoy seeing her post all the time, very informative, and see how she stays motivated. So I wanted to get her on the show. And guess what I did? I have her on the show today. So welcome to the show.
Hey, everyone.
And how's everything today?
Everything is pretty good. Going good. Long day for sure.
I mean, when you stay busy, you know, it seems like you're doing a lot during the day. But thank you again for joining us. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about you?
Yes. So my name is Shandelys Ramos, but I'm known as Shay in the real estate world. I'm originally from the Virgin Islands. I moved to Florida when I was about 5. I was raised down south. I came to Central Florida about 4 years ago and started my real estate journey back in 2019. So that's my start.
I see. Thank you for introducing yourself. Now, we do have some questions for you about real estate and also about your daily life as an entrepreneur. But before we get started, I do have a little icebreaker question for you. If you could learn one new professional skill, what would it be and why?
One professional skill. I would say I need to get better at time blocking, which is a great professional skill.
Time blocking. Okay.
For sure, time blocking is a skill in its own. Like with being an entrepreneur, you have to make sure your time is delegated, great, and on time. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say a skill I need to kind of, get better at.
How will that help you in your professional life or personal life?
Oh, well, for both, as being a mom and being a business owner, real estate is not, people think it's, you make your own schedule. It's, you get to work a few times, a few hours out of the day, when it's not true. Some weeks I work like 80 hours. So I was still working when I got home today. So time blocking works for that. So from the morning, when I wake up, I have to time block gym, when I eat my lunch, what time of the day I'm doing showings, when I'm going to be meeting people, and fit in, if anything needs to be added, appointments, I just fit it into the schedule, but I kind of have like a set schedule. So that would help in both aspects of my life. If my son has karate or things going on, that way we can kind of stay on track when life gets a little bit busy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, Tell me a little bit about how did you get into real estate?
Well, it's actually a funny story. So I was actually, before real estate, I was working at Tijuana Flats, which you may probably know. Mm-hmm. So I was working there for 3 years. I was actually a trainer, training other people at different stores. And then I became like a shift leader, which is kind of like a manager. So the CEO of a brokerage came in one day and he told me, hey, you give the best customer service. Every time I come in here, you're super friendly. Have you ever thought about getting into real estate? And I'm like, no, real estate, not at all. And he said, well, you'll be really good at it. You're really good with people. Quit your job today and I'll pay for your real estate license. I'll pay for you to get your real estate license. And I was in shock. I'm like, no. My first thought was like, oh no, I'm okay. Like, I don't know what to say, He came back like 6 or 7 months later And he saw me again. He said, "Hey, Shay, you still thinking about, maybe getting into real estate?" And I'm like, "Not really." He's like, "Well, just to let you know, I have a position open as a leasing coordinator at my office. If you want to at least take that up and try part-time while you're still working here if you want." And I was like, you know what, maybe let me try it out. Let me just give it a try. So I did that part-time. So I was a leasing coordinator part-time and was still working at Tijuana Flats. Maybe about 3 months, I decided not to be at Tijuana Flats anymore and go full-time being a leasing coordinator. So I realized that I was really good when I was renting out properties. I was the first one to rent out the most properties, and that business was open for like 10 years. So I rented out a lot of properties, and I realized, okay, I'm good at this. So maybe I should get my real estate license. So that's what they did. They paid for me to go to the class. So they paid for the class. I took a week off. I did the class. I took the test. I passed my exam on the first try. And that's when I started real estate. And that was back in November 2019. I passed my test. I didn't start real estate, actually, getting into the selling side, trying to sell, until January of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that test is usually one of the hardest tests. So it's good that you get it on the first try. Now that you're working, I mean, you can tell that you have a gift, for getting along with people. But for you waking up every day, like you said, you have a son and you have other things to do. What keeps you going? Like, what keeps you motivated to get up every single day and do real estate?
So in the beginning, it was more, the motivation was, okay, I'm motivated because my son, I want to provide a better life. But as you go on in any business or anything you do, you realize, oh, I'm not motivated today. I don't feel like doing anything. So it's not motivation. I would say now it's determination. So motivation gets you started, but determination helps you finish. Yeah. So that's what I really, that's what I tell myself. If I don't want to go to the gym, I wake up, oh my gosh, I'm determined to lose X amount of weight or to get stronger, etc. Or, okay, I don't want to show a house this early in the morning. Oh, well, too bad. You need that. You need that. It's determination to get it done because you have a certain amount of homes you want to sell each month. So it's not so much motivation now. It's like, I'm determined to try to be successful in this business.
I see. And I mean, as you work, of course, you mentioned you started as a leasing coordinator, but now, how do you build a successful customer base? How do you get your customers?
So getting my customers, I would say, meeting a lot of new people, going to networking events. So any client that I've actually closed on or et cetera, we've closed a house or I've helped them with, any type of real estate need, I make sure to stay in contact with them. You don't want to annoy them, but that's where your business ends up being. You get most of your business from is from your referrals. So, when I sell a house, I make sure I, send them happy holiday cards or, stay on top of them. Hey, your home is worth this amount of money. It's been 6 months, a year, or do you want to sell? You have this much equity in your home. I just touch them, but not push them. Mm-hmm. So that's how I keep my customer base growing, because eventually they'll reach out to you. Hey, I have a friend wanting to buy or sell. Oh, and I want to buy and sell again. I want to use you. You give them that good experience and they'll come to you for the services over and over again. I
see. Now, how can someone who is in another industry benefit from that type of system and process that you have? Like, what would you recommend to someone else in another industry?
Well, for example, say you're selling lip glosses or something like that, or you're an entrepreneur, you're selling beauty products. You've had people that bought products from you. You want to get them on a newsletter or, make sure you get their information to touch base with them. You see it with big companies, Target. I get notifications every time, oh, Target's having a sale, or something like that. So just doing those touches, sometimes I click, I'm like, oh, they're having a sale. I need to buy this and that from, it makes you want to, purchase or keep using them because of whatever it is they have going on. So I would say newsletters is good for any business, anything that you're running. You being in finance, probably you send out blast emails or something like that, that is what sets you apart. Like, you're staying on top of it without being annoying. You're not giving them an email every single day, but it's important when it counts, maybe anniversaries, or maybe, happy birthday, you're staying in contact with them. So it works with any business. If you're selling real estate, if you're a mortgage broker, if you're selling beauty products, if you're selling clothing, letting somebody know, oh, we have new in stock, all that stuff, things like that. You're keeping in touch with your customer, sending out little postcards still work. I still do postcards or handwritten letters. So it still works.
Okay. Out of sight, out of mind. So if you stay in contact, you stay in touch, you send them happy birthday cards and things like that. I guess, when they need to buy a house, or when someone mentioned buying a house, you automatically becomes the first person in their mind. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, especially when you build a good connection with them. Yeah. So that's what's important to me is, I don't make it about the transaction. Like there's clients that I've worked with for months. Sometimes this market is crazy. So 5 to 6 months at a time, we're together, and I don't push them. I build that relationship. Hey, I know we've been shopping for some time. You get to learn them. I know their dogs. Like things like that. You get to know who they are. So I'm really relationship based more than transaction based. I think the relationship is better, and you pick relationships over the transactions. For me, that's how it is.
I agree. Now, getting to real estate now, we're in a really hot market right now that nobody expected when the pandemic started, because everybody were like, okay, the market's going to crash. Everybody's not working. And we see that sudden rise in the market where I'm an agent too, but I don't work full time. So I usually help friends and family. I was helping a close friends buy a house, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I always advise people to buy a house, whatever the reason is. Buy real estate and wait. Don't wait. But as of what you being in the market every single day, and based on what you're seeing now, what would you advise someone who is kind of like on the fence? They want to buy, but they're waiting for the market to crash, or they don't know, what's coming up. Like, what would you tell someone who is in the market to either buy a house or sell a house right now?
Well, if you're looking to buy, I just recommend you get all your ducks in a row ASAP. So basically getting pre-approved will be the first most important part, because you obviously have to see if you're even eligible to purchase. And I think that's where people get ahead of themselves. They start shopping and calling agents and looking around, and then when they find a house, they're like, oh, well, you can't put an offer, because nowadays you can't submit an offer until you have that pre-approval in hand. That's every home on the market. And have some money saved. I get they have programs, down payment assistance, and all that stuff, or zero down. But guess what? When you're in a competitive market, the sellers are going to look at that as well. So I would say that get your ducks in a row. Make sure you have some money saved up, because there's still some out-of-pocket things you're going to have to pay for, like inspection, appraisals. That's a part of the closing cost, but that's money you have to pay. There's a bunch of other financing options, but I recommend you speak to a lender ASAP. Have some money saved up. You need to be quick. So once you get pre-approved, you need to be out there seeing houses ASAP. So you don't wait. Oh, there's a house that came on the market on Monday. Oh, I work all week. I'm going to have to see it on Saturday. Oh, sorry. No. Get your agent to go do a video or do something, or make some time, because that home will not last. Right now, we're looking at like 6 days on market, and you can see, like, it's crazy.
And and you're talking about like 15, 20 offers in like one day, Yes. So if you don't put your best foot forward, So people are asking me right now, I just tell them, do you have a pre-approval? Because before that, I would say like 2 to 3 years ago, you used to need like a qualification. Now, until you get that pre-approval, they don't even want to see.
Yeah, no, honestly, because you can't submit an offer without it, because what is going to make you competitive if you're like, oh, I want to put an offer on this house? Where's your pre-approval?
Like, get the money.
How do we know if you have the money? How do you know you can afford this house? Oh, we have 3 other offers, 2 cash, 1 other pre-approval for X amount, and they're putting this amount down. You have to be competitive, but that's where having a knowledgeable real estate agent and someone who knows the market, it makes a whole big difference for sure.
So I know a lot of people are praying for a crash because they think it's going to be easier for them to buy a house. Now, based on your personal opinion, not analysis and things like that, but based on what you're seeing, do you feel like there's a crash coming, or is the market slowing down right now, or what are you seeing?
So I'm seeing the market is evening itself out. So prices are coming down a little bit. Interest rates are starting to rise by, a little bit, but I would say that I don't see a crash coming, not in the way that it was before. When the crash happened, obviously they were giving out loans left and right to people who weren't qualified.
Yeah.
So what happened is when the mortgages are high, they can't pay for it. What happens? The home goes into foreclosure. The people, the lenders that bought the mortgage off the mortgage company, investors can't get their money. So everyone's, the market started to crash. But right now, back then it was a lot of supply and not enough demand.
Yeah.
So right now what we have is not enough supply, too much demand.
That's what it is.
So there's a really big shortage on homes, and it's not just, because so much people are buying homes because of interest rates, but also you have material shortage, labor shortages. So now it costs more to get someone to kind of build this house because nobody really wants to work nowadays, So in my opinion, I don't see it being a crash like how it was before. They also set a lot of guidelines from then and now, to get pre-approved for a home, you need to have bank statements, tax returns, credit needs to be at a certain amount. You need to make sure you can prove all this stuff. Before, you didn't have to have all of that. So that's where I feel like the difference lies. And I know a lot of my clients ask me too, hey, Shay, I'm reading the market's going to crash. Zillow just sold all their houses. And I'm like, the market is going to even itself out, but still the home prices are going to be on the rise slowly and slowly. It's not like it's going to be like, oh, now I bought my house for $500,000. Now in a few months, it's going to be worth $200,000 or something. No, it's not going to be like that. If you notice in other markets, Atlanta, I keep an eye on Atlanta, LA, New York, the markets it's still going up.
Yeah.
Real estate is a little constant. It'll probably fall down a little bit, but it's going to keep going back up.
That's one thing a lot of people do not pay attention to. Real estate is local. So Orlando market could be popping, and then you have 2 cities down, and then the market is not as hot. Or you go to another state, it's not as hot. Or you go to California, you can't even afford a house, Or you go to Texas right now, where everybody from California is moving to.
Yeah.
It used to be a cheap market, but now it's like on the rise, where if you go to, I think it's Houston right now, it's like the next Los Angeles, So people need to keep that in mind, that real estate is local.
Yeah.
Just because you can hear someone say, okay, in my area, real estate are going down, it's going down, they expect it's going to be the same thing for Orlando or for Miami. Like the average price of a home, it's super high right now. It's going up compared to what it was a year or 2 years ago. So that's what I said too. I think people are being really vetted thoroughly right now. So they're getting loans out to everybody, and then you have the government protecting the ones that can't pay. Till everything gets better. So I don't expect a crash to happen. Like you mentioned, there's like a shortage of like almost 5 million homes that need to be provided. So until that is filled, I don't see a crash happening. The price may slightly come down because, we had a lot of iBuyers like the Zillow, other people, other companies inflating prices. But I feel like that's still the right time to buy real estate. Because one thing I tell people, even if there's a crash or even if the price goes down, that doesn't mean real estate will automatically get cheaper. Because look at it this way. Once the market starts slowing down, what's going to happen is there won't be as many loans. So interest rate will go down, will go up. So you may be getting the same house for cheaper, like the average price is cheaper. It's only if you pay cash. If you're getting a mortgage, you may end up paying for more for a house that costs less.
Yeah, because your interest is higher, paying more interest.
So another question for you. Being a real estate agent, it's like a wonderful thing. There's freedom that comes with it. You can get creative with it, but at the same time, there are some drawbacks to it. How you as a female, how do you stay safe when, you show homes to people you sometimes build relationship with first, but you still don't know everybody, So how do you stay safe when you show homes?
So I show homes during the daytime. So I won't when the sun starts to go down, I'm not showing you a house, unless we have built rapport, you're my friend, or, a family member, you obviously, but, I feel like showing homes too late to someone, you just say, hey, I want to see this house. And it's a red flag. Because there are a lot of people that see you're a woman, you're a realtor, you're a woman. They think that you're, that you're not gonna be able to defend yourself, kind of thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So one, I keep pepper spray for sure. So have something, something that'll be able to, you'll be able to use. Don't get their IDs. So when you go show a house to someone that you have not met, make sure you have their IDs beforehand. Take a picture of it, send it out to, your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, or, your broker or a team leader. Hey, I'm going to go show this house at this address. This is who I'm showing it to. That way, even share your location. Have, iPhones nowadays have share the location, making sure they know, like, oh, it's weird, she's going traveling, she doesn't usually go that way, something to keep an eye, because anything can happen. I've seen a lot of stuff of realtors getting killed for stupid stuff, or because they met someone, that they thought were looking to buy a house, and everything, went wrong. So I would say, don't show houses at night unless it's someone you really, really know. Make sure you have your location on, share it with somebody, make sure you have IDs. So that way, anything happens, you'll be able to have the identification of, who you were with, for sure.
That's some good tips. And I also read somewhere, someone saying, especially for females, if you're showing homes, they always say to not lock the door behind you, or
that's what another one I was going to say is that not lock the door behind you, but also let them go in first.
Yes, let them go in first. That way they can't push you, and then
And even when you have a 2-story home, don't go upstairs. Hey guys, check out upstairs. I'm going to stay down here. Make sure you have the patio door unlocked. If anything happens, if the front door is blocked, you run straight to the patio and run out.
Those things are really good. I'm asking myself, do brokerages, do they teach those things really to help? I haven't been with a big brokerage for a long time. So I'm not sure if they're helping agents stay safe, because I see so many sad stories where those things could have been avoided. But it's good that you know how to keep yourself safe while showing homes. Now, in order to show homes, you have to have the clients, of course, to show those homes. So how do you generate, how do you acquire new clients besides getting referrals? Like, do you just rely on referrals, or do you have other ideas or processes that you use to acquire new clients?
So I follow some Facebook groups too. Like, I'm a part of some local mom groups. So targeting kind of like the moms. I also do have a single mom program that I have with my lender. So basically we kind of help out with the closing costs for single moms. So I'm a part of the group and I share that information. Hey, just sharing this out to you guys. Social media is big. Now obviously you can see everyone is, on social media. With the reels and stuff like that. So I do get some leads from social media. I would say too, whatever brokerage you decide, sometimes your brokerage does supply you with leads. My brokerage does supply me with leads, and that's really it. Social media, referrals, family, friends. I do get leads. If you want, you can pay for your own leads through Zillow or Realtor.com. That way you have more. Mm-hmm. But that's where I get my base of my leads: social media, referrals, and then I do get leads from my brokerage.
So every time you wake up, it's a brand new day. Every time you have to create your own path and what you want to do. Because you have to go to work, you have to do the things to keep your business going. Yeah. But you don't have anybody that's like, hey, you have to be on the clock at 8 a.m. You have to do this and that. How do you stay disciplined, or what's your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
So I would say you don't have anyone down. So when you're a real estate agent, you don't have anyone on your neck unless you're part of a team and there's some stuff they have in place that you need to do. The discipline comes heavy on you. Like, okay, so like I said, I want to make this amount this year. What do I need to do to make that? Or I need to sell 3 homes a month. What is it going to take to get there? So you just kind of research. So I do a lot of research. it's a mindset thing, podcast too. So it's not really about discipline on my own. I listen to a lot of podcasts or, YouTube, they have the motivational YouTube things that get you going. So it puts you in a different mindset, because mindset is super important when you're an entrepreneur, because there's some days where it's like, you have a lot going on, or maybe something in your family's going on. There's a lot going on, but what sets you apart is what you're putting into yourself. You're putting into yourself is going to kind of help you to get that motivation. But remember I said it's determination. It's everybody's different. So it's really what you really want to do in life.
I see. And what advice do you have for someone who is in a 9 to 5 now and who wants to start their own business, whether it's in real estate or in whatever they are good at? What would you tell them?
I would say have a plan. So some sort of business plan, what it is that you want to sell, what is it that you want to do. I'm using real estate because obviously I'm a realtor, but when I started real estate, I was so lost. I was so confused. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't, know how many homes I really want to sell. I didn't know what it took to sell the homes, So what makes a difference is having a business plan, like making sure what date you need to have this target, what you need to do to get there. Business plan is super important. So if you're working 9 to 5, just see what works better for you as well. A lot of people, I was working 9 to 5 and I jumped right in. There's some things I would have did differently. 9 to 5 is not always bad. If you save your money, you work 9 to 5, save your money. That way, when you do open that business, when you do start real estate, you need money just in case, sales don't go the way it needs to go, or, you don't sell as much products as you wanted to sell, just to make sure that you're not, struggling, I guess I can say.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. I think we touched on that I think it was the last episode, which won't be streamed in a few weeks. So we talked about, yes, it's good to start a business. Like in your case, you have a plan, you have a whole system to get you going, or you tried it part-time first and you realize, okay, I'm really good at that. Let me go full-time. So yes, so we touched based on how, use your 9 to 5 to help you with your 5 to 9,
Yep.
After work, you do it part-time and you try it, you see if it works for you, or if it doesn't, you flip it, try other things until it start working. And then you start your own business. If it never works, you can still invest in other people's businesses. It doesn't have to be your own. You can leverage someone else's success and invest in their business. That way you can create additional streams of income without having to put all your energy on something that's not working for you.
Yeah.
That's really good advice. Thank you for that.
No worries. I actually have something to add. So if you try something and you fail at it at first, for me, I tried opening a jewelry online store. I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, no plan, no nothing. I was like, what? I'm not going to do this. But, a lot of the people that have big companies, it's not their first company. They have started something first. They failed. They did something else. Oh, they failed at that too, but they kept going. Yes. You can't even look at Amazon. He started in his garage. So you can't look at your current situation. You got to make the best out of it, and just keep going.
And on top of that, I feel like a lot of people are fitting into the idea on social media where you see everybody successful because they only post their successes. They do not post their failures. They don't tell you, hey, I've been trying to do this for 6 years and now I'm making $100,000 per month. And now you see $100,000 per month. It's your first month and you expect to get the exact same result. And then when you don't, you feel like you're a complete failure and then you give up on life. So I agree to that. Don't compare someone's success to or someone's 10th year to your first year.
I was just going to say that to your, someone's 10th year to your first year. That was an issue that I had too. Like, oh my God, these realtors are so successful. And I'm like, wait. They're on 11, 10, 15 years. I'm here on my first year. Don't beat yourself up because you will get there. It takes time, but also putting in place systems, putting in plans, that's what is going to make you successful.
That's right. So we are almost there. We are having a really great conversation about entrepreneurship and also about real estate. So right now, I'm going to do a rapid fire question session. It's
Okay.
about 10 questions, and you have to. It's about it's we're gonna give you two choices on each question. You pick which one is your favorite, and you don't get to say why, and you need to answer fast. Okay. All right,
Okay.
let's go. First question: work or play?
Work.
Love or friendship?
You said which one?
Love or friendship?
Love.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Morning or evening?
Evening.
Do you watch shows on one episode at a time, or do you binge watch the whole season?
That depends. Sometimes I binge watch the whole season, so binge watch.
Would you rather fly or have super strength?
Fly.
Would you rather find your dream job or win the lottery?
Win the lottery.
Last one: a night out or a night in?
A night out.
Night out. Great. Some great questions to help our listeners get to know you better. And now we are in the last part of the podcast today. This is what we call the free game with Mad Boo. This is where Shay is about to tell us a piece of advice that from your industry or from life in general that our listeners cannot just find anywhere. Share something unique with them.
When I started real estate, like I said, I was super lost, and people don't tell you, a lot of people don't tell you the downsides of real estate. They just tell you the good. You'll see like a lot of people come on, on social media and say, oh my God, you're doing so good. I want to get into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this, I want to do that. But no one told me that sometimes I would have no money, which had happened to me before because I didn't sell a home. Maybe, it's not that I didn't have no money, but I couldn't spend what I wanted to spend because I didn't sell a house in 1 or 2 months. But that's where, like I said, planning, that wouldn't happen really much if you're not giving it your all. But,
yeah.
I would say that make sure you have money saved up. It's okay to move if you're not happy with your brokerages. And I'm aiming this towards a lot of real estate agents because this is a real estate like kind of podcast. But, I've switched brokerages 3 times. Well, 2 times. And then now I'm with more homes, and everyone can see how my business has changed. First, I was scared, like, oh, what are people going to think about me if I'm switching brokerages so much? Is it going to be me? Am I the problem? Am I the drama? But, do what makes you happy and what's comfortable and flourish. What's going to make you flourish or where it's going to make you flourish. So I would say, don't feel stuck. People won't tell you that, people will tell you they're super successful. They've been, doing all this stuff. No, it's not true. Sometimes there's moments where you want to cry and pull your hair out and, and you're like, oh my God, I got to come up with a side hustle, do something to make sure that you're good and your family's good. So it's not always glitz and glam. Do your research, talk to other realtors. These are things I didn't do.
If you need some advices or if you need help with real estate in general, do you only work in Central Florida, or do you? I know some brokerages, they have specific jurisdictions where they can.
Yes, so I do Central Florida, but also I've been tapping into Broward. I was raised in Broward County. So I do have a lot of friends still over there, and a lot of them wanting to purchase or still come to me for real estate advice. I have several that I'm actually going to be helping next year. So right. I dabble into Broward, but I live here, so I kind of try to stay in my area. If it's anything further out, I have actually referral partners I could just send over if you are looking possibly in Tampa. We have a More Homes Tampa. Maybe you're looking in Atlanta. We don't have a More Homes Atlanta, but I have some great real estate agents there that can take care of you.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for sharing all that information with us, and thank you for joining us today on today's podcast. Thanks for taking the time out. Did you have any questions for me or anything else you wanted to share with our listeners today?
I actually didn't have any questions for you. Probably going to have questions personally after.
Okay.
But
All right.
no, nothing right now.
Good. Well, thank you again for listening, guys. Thank you, Shay, for being our guest today. So this is the series about real estate where we'll talk more about real estate. We have other guests coming to talk about real estate. We have other guests coming talking about investment and talking about entrepreneurship. We have that intersection today between entrepreneurship and real estate with Shay. So she will do the transition to our next session for that season. So we have a lot more coming up for this season. Thank you again for listening. If you have more questions or if you have any ideas of what you would like us to talk about, you can share those with us in the comment sections. And thank you for listening. You have a wonderful day.
That's a wrap.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And we're excited for more. Thank you for checking out Keys to the Coin with Dr. Paul Etienne. Stay connected via madboo.com and on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook with the username madboocom as we continue to unravel the financial world with tips, insights, know-how, and more. Download our app, MadBoo Max, for insights, news, free stocks, and financial tools. As always, we hope you learned something useful from this episode. On your way to creating your financial path, live a productive, debt-free life, and ultimately gain confidence in every coin.